So,
right, yeah.
Murray,
All right,
the
mate.
man, the legend, thank you so much for joining and being part of our class. I know it's obviously a huge effort and a huge commitment for you to come out of your day and to answer these questions, and I really appreciate that. And
Mate, no worries. No worries.
And, you know, it's been quite interesting for a lot of the students when they've seen some of the documentaries we were looking about, and there's been some quite moving questions. And feel free to, you know, I expect you've heard some of these before and some you might not have, but, you know, if there's quite a lot to get through because we did 3 classes studying it. But, and like I say, for the outstanding sportsman, we looked at different kind of qualities that we see in individuals and the way that people are powered through. So I'll fire off with some of the questions, if that's all right, from the different classes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. So there are quite a few, so feel free to give a kind of shortish answer as well. And some of the kind of videos that we saw talked about you with the, you know, showed you with the kids and stuff. And one of the first question is, how has your injury like affected your relationship with your children?
I think it's made my relationship way closer with my kids, way more close to they hold no secrets from me.
Okay.
Tell me everything. It's I know it's just brought us closer together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. We had another question, and I think, you know, it was super interesting seeing it. And one of the things that we noticed in the video clip is where you talk about you like almost being in a straitjacket and how, you know, your first up. Yeah, and it was how some of the kids was like, how do you remain so positive in that? You know, you came up, you got a huge smile in it when you're telling the story. So how have you remained so positive?
Well, mate, it's just the only way to get through all this negative to turn it into a positive, and you either go up or you go down, you sink or you swim, don't you? So
yeah,
you gotta make the best out of what you got and just live life like that. It's the way you're supposed to do it, I guess. Right.
And some of the people want to know, like, what are you doing now with your life?
Nothing's complete wasting it away. Just kidding. No. I mean, you know, I help out a lot of people. A lot of people contact me, messaging me nonstop, who are in real low places, and they want like lifting up, picking up, help for this and that, advice. I do a lot of that, just off my own back, and then I'm involved in a business with Station. It's a bicycle company and apparel, athletic and apparel company, clothing company. And then we work with like different companies doing collaborations together. So we get to work with different companies, do like unique things. Like that's the thing. It's like once you think it's all over, but there's so much more you can do. You know, there's yeah. I'm just about to sign to do a documentary with Netflix.
Oh wow!
So we've got a meeting next week. You know, all the decks all laid out. It looks the dog. So yeah, I mean, it's just you just keep moving forward, don't you?
Definitely. And
no stagnant water. Got to clear out the dead wood.
I see you must have been chatting to Lee about some of these phrases. Dead wood. Speaking of that man, get rid of him quick. But,
James, would you like to see Stephen's dog? He's got a baby Rottweiler.
Yeah, bring it in.
I'll bring it in. It's so cute.
Right, they're watching this, right?
They will be. They'll be watching this video back with the questions they've asked you. So yeah, it's
all right.
They're live. So
I'm not doing too bad, am I?
Doing well. You're looking well, Stephen. Looking well. But and the other thing is, like, because you talked about that, the business, and a lot of them also like have asked, are you still linked with the sport? And I guess you've answered that a little bit, saying about, you know, Stay Strong and the brand and other ways. But are you still linked much with kind of BMXing?
Yeah, deep. Yeah, deep. As well, you know, my kids, that's what they love. So
Because both of your kids are pretty good now. Because and that's still another question. Like a lot of your kids, you know, I saw one of them at on a competition doing some crazy tricks. It's crazy to see how they've developed. And you're involved in the sport still. They've kind of got into it as well themselves,
yeah,
and you know, becoming quite big. And one of the other questions seems to come up quite a lot is like, would you encourage your children to go in it, knowing, oh, that dog is that's got this.
oh, these are hi.
I saw
Hi.
the
Look at that, James.
that's huge. I saw the cute little photo on Facebook.
That's all right, I can't handle.
Is it too big? It's too big.
Yeah, I can't.
But that's pretty cute, James, isn't it?
Massive.
Okay.
Stephen, so like I say, one of the things would, you know, people kind of ask, like students were like, would you advocate your kids to go into the sport knowing the risks?
Yeah, because there's a risk with everything in life.
Yeah.
There's walking out the road walking down the street, traffic, car, getting in the car, driving. It's a normal day, everyday stuff. Way more people get hurt doing that.
So I guess
I'm not a one-off. I was the first to get like really properly crippled, you know. But and there's been a few more people on BMX that got spinal injuries and brain injuries. So the risk is there, but it's like everything in life. There's no risk and there's no reward, is there? So you gotta balance out if you want to live your life kind of normal, or you're looking for that little extra rush and you want to take a little extra risk. Just to live a little, feel like you're living rather than just being. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. One of the students asked, or one of the groups asked, was like, what was the thing you missed most about being a professional athlete?
The freedom to only really worry about where you're going to ride the next day. You know, it's a lot of freedom to create yourself and to be able to do things and take on projects and get as creative as you want.
Yeah.
And it's not like a bog standard set routine job, which I was never very good with. I always give everything to BMX. I sacrificed everything. So I think that's why I got to the level that I did, because I missed out on a lot of stuff growing up. Because yeah, that's what I love to do. Right. So
Interesting. And you know, I guess one of the other questions you kind of talked about a little bit is because you also say, one of the questions was, what would you tell other people who also experience like career-ending injuries? And I guess you said just now that you've had quite a few people contact you, right? Is that because they're looking for like inspiration, because they low, or is it because they know that how well you've like, you know, you seem to have recovered from it, and you know how you're positive outlook?
yeah, I think people can see that I'm obviously been up against, like, you know, life-threatening things and a lot of hardship and struggle. But just, I guess people drawn towards my attitude, I guess.
Mm.
Just remain positive
Awesome.
as you can be, and just try and make the most out of the day, every day.
And I think like one of the things, did you notice, and this is like, a bit of a kind of tough personal question, did you notice that once you're out the limelight, that certain people connected to you kind of moved away and like ebbed away? And
Oh, 100%, yeah. Yeah, that's all you fair weather friends. We find out who your true friends are,
yeah,
And many people you think you're friends are really your enemies and secret identities in disguise to hide your true colors. Just when you're close enough to think you're going to be brothers, and then cut your throat when you're not looking.
But Steve, I think it's important to say how good Oakley and Vans have been.
No, I mean,
they're very good to you, aren't they?
My sponsors, Oakley and Vans, have been unbelievable support towards me. I've endorsed Vans and Oakley my whole pro career in BMX, and when I went down, they were there when I needed them the most, and they give me opportunities to be able to work within and do projects and get them opportunities and you take them, don't you?
yeah, and that's I think a really amazing point there that you've mentioned.
There's not too many companies that would do what Vans and Oakley have done for one of their employees that got it hard. I'm a self-contractor, and they did for a self-contracted sports person, the companies to get behind you like that, it's like never really heard of anything else like it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's really good to hear that they've been supporting you for so long with it. So, couple of other questions is what is like your long-term goals for kind of Stay Strong, and have you got any long-term goals for the company? Do you see it something that'll be around for time to come?
I think it'll be around for a long time. We're going to branch out into women's sports wear and fitness, and then also into like the supplement line, a CBD recovery drink. What was the question again?
So like how have you kind of, so I guess you're still like, it's quite amazing that you're running this business and you've got like the links to these kind of charity as well. So like what?
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You feel like that it's it's something that's going to keep going, right? It's going to keep. It's not just a short-term thing. Like Stay Strong.
No.
Right? And it's a pop. I guess it's growing all the time, right?
Well, we're just about to set a Stay Strong Foundation to that side of the works right now. So I want to be able to be more on that end of it, of the business, or be in the charity, so I can actually go and help people, or do more of the helping side of things, communicating, and what we want to do is to raise money for people to get into physical rehabilitation that can't afford it, or don't have any hope, or lost, feel like the world's closing in. And they can't see any way out. So to be able to offer them, physical exercise stimulates the brains, and it just makes you feel good, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
And with an injury like mine, you have to be in rehabilitation, otherwise you just debilitate, you go backwards. So let's take people forwards with this foundation to change their life a little bit, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's the goal. That's the first goal of the foundation. So yeah, I'm pretty psyched about that.
And sounds fantastic. Sounds like you're keeping really busy. So that's great to hear. What was your
Do you want to fill it up? I'll fill it up for you.
what other kind of sports did you play? Like apart from was it just BMX and was your life, or was it anything else that you used to keep or you used to play? A bit of rugby or anything like that, or football or?
Nah, I messed around with football and that, but I wasn't really all that good. I was just, mate, I was so just driven to my BMX. That's all I really like to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Just kind of a little bit obsessive, if you know, put it like that. You got to be a bit obsessed to reach the peaks that I reached, yeah.
Yeah. And I got a few more questions from Miss Howard's group, and one of the questions I quite like is, you know, and I know you talked about this a little bit, and it says like, how has this accident like changed your like perspective on life?
Oh man, it completely is, because it doesn't matter how much you have, how much money you have, how bad your car is, how sick your car is. You got the best cars, you got the heart to trophy wife, you got everything. But when it comes down to it, and you're fighting for your life, and all of a sudden you're on this new journey, it's like none of it was at all. You see the simple things in life and appreciate them a lot more than somebody that's just living normally, because it's like a new beginning, understanding how to live, and just, yeah, appreciating more the small things, because yeah, them big things are, you know, will be there. And, yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I still do. Still done a lot of stuff like skydiving and snowboarding and skiing and stuff like that. It's not like I can't go and do anything crazy thrill seeking. I still like to search to do.
Yeah, you missed out.
Adventures like that. Like I want to do to have a zip line in Wales.
Right.
It's the biggest zip line in Europe, I think. So this quarry, and you're like facing down, so you're flying like Superman, and you go down the zip line. Like, I guess I'll be strapped on a guy.
You also missed out on us going to the cricket, and then you deciding it was boring after 20 minutes and having to leave. You missed out that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's one of the best games as well.
That's all too much. See, games like cricket just don't entice me, mate, whatsoever. In fact, it was rather annoying. I had to leave. It was more than boring. Reach new levels, mate. I've never experienced. I had to get.
All right. Okay, let's get back to the sensible stuff. But all right. So this is a bit of a kind of personal question, a tough question, again from Ms. House Group, and it was like, what point after your accident was the hardest?
The initial first 4 weeks in shock trauma, because I had flatlined 3 times in 4 weeks.
And so it was at different points that you kind of your heart stopped. Was it just so it wasn't directly after the crash? It was just randomly at those.
No, it was right. I'd stopped breathing on the floor. So they had to shove the tubes down my throat when I was on the floor with a bag and like breathe for me. So they were keeping my lungs afloat. And then when I got on the ambulance, that's when I flatlined. And then when I got to the shock trauma center, that's when I flatlined again. And then 4 weeks later, when I was trying to transfer from that hospital to a rehab, like an in-house rehabilitation, I flatlined on the way to the airport in an ambulance. So it was a fight for my life. It was sketchy. It was crazy. It was like there's 20 people in shock trauma, right? 20 rooms in a circle with a nurse's bay in the middle. And on average, every 30 minutes, someone was dying in nearly 20 rooms. Yeah, crazy. So just lucky to get out of that. Just wanted out. So yeah.
Wow.
And obviously there's been difficult points, other points, personal things that have affected me too, But it's just life. That's what everyone deals with, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's always amazing, like, that people perceive some things in life to be hard, and that, people say, oh, this is hard in life, it's just, but I guess until you've really faced such adversity, nothing is really in comparison of kind of getting over a trauma or an injury like you had. It just puts everyone else's struggles, I think, into comparison of almost being,
people. Well, you see, you start to realize how petty people's whining is about little, you know what I mean? Our little issues.
Yeah.
Like,
let me go through it. So, do you still keep up with any of your BMX buddies?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I do. Yeah, quite a few.
Sounds good. So it's good to see you still in there and keep going. And obviously, a lot of these kind of students we're chatting with right now they're really into their sports. They do work hard, they train, and they really want to develop. And they say, is there any sport that you think, they said, kind of the question is it worth it to play a sport even despite the risk of injuries? And kind of, you already mentioned that you think, you've got to take the risks in life. Is there any sports that you wouldn't take part in back in the day, or were you open to trying every sport going? You were just very risk averse?
Nah, I wouldn't say. I've always been really scared of like skydiving.
Right.
So I made myself do it because I was so scared of it. And but it is that you love and enjoy and you've got a passion for it, and then go and pursue it.
Okay.
And if you think it's worth the risk, then take it. I say grab it and go and get it.
All right. Okay. Couple of last few questions, but 3 questions left. It says, one of the students said, do you still like watching BMX on TV? Yeah?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And I guess, does it make you sad watching it and remind you of like when you got injured, or do you just kind of look for the...
Not really. I do have a couple of moments where it does, and I kind of miss being in the mix because you'd see all your friends on behind the phone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Just a little bit, a little bit.
Where do you see yourself now if you hadn't been injured? Do you think about that ever?
Oh, mate, I thought I'd be dead by 40, to be honest.
Really, with the lifestyle that you were having? Because I guess for a lot of the younger athletes, there's quite a party scene, isn't there? There's a lot going on, isn't there, I guess, behind the scenes?
Yeah. I not that I'd be dead by partying by then, but I just never seen myself past 40.
Right.
But hey, I'm here now, so trot on to 41.
I guess as well, one of the other questions was, how did you how did you become so creative at inventing tricks that had never been done before? Like the double backflip, which almost defies the laws of physics when you look at it. You know, you had some other crazy tricks, and it looks like at some points in the air, you're never going to be able to like whip the bike around or twist. So how did you come up with them? How did you think, oh, this could be possible?
Mate, because I've always wanted to learn something new. Like doing the same thing gets boring, and you get burnt out on it. So I'm always looking. Once I've learned something, I want to come learn something else. And being in the competitive scene, you have to one up the last contest. So they don't want to see you doing the same thing. So you got to really just think and dream and just have moments of thought where really what could be done, and then you take it to like some of the skate parks, or have like foam pits,
Yeah,
with takeoffs into it. So you jump into the foam, so like lessen the chance of injury straight away. So these had just came out, and so I would practice all types of new things. But there's two tricks I came out. There's a double backflip and a 360 turn down flip, which still to this day nobody's done. So yeah, and then just after that, just practice and practice, and just repetition, and just thinking and focusing, and just over and over and over. And then when it comes to the real moment, you've already lived it, because you already visualized it, and you manifested it in your brain, and it becomes reality.
wow, amazing insight there. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Last question. And a few people asked this, and they were like, you know, if you could go back in time, and you know, if you could go back in time and avoid that, would you, or do you think that?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I would, yeah. I would definitely go back. But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't wish this upon anyone, to be honest. But whoever is going to do it the fact is, you gotta make the most out of it and live life to the fullest as you can. There's still loads of fun things you can do. There's loads of opportunities out there. Take the opportunities and see where they go. And it's not all over. You know, there's bigger things out there for you.
Mr. Murray, Stephen, thank you. That was fantastic for you to spend the time, you know, answering questions. You know, it's been really inspirational, I think, when we looked at outstanding, you know, sports people and seeing how you've developed on, you know, all the stages of your journey you've been through. And there's some really, you know, hard-hitting questions there and realities of being a professional sportsman. So thank you so much for your time. It's really appreciated by everyone at International School Manila and the students as well. So thank you so much for that.
Wicked. All right. Thanks, Phil. Well, take care, mate.
All right, cheers. Thank you, Stephen. Thanks so much
You
for doing
guys.